What's up guys, my name is Kyle Bradshaw and welcome to Moto City. This here is our Motoz tire display and this is going to be the first video in a series called Motoz Monday until we get all of these tires knocked out. Now today I'm going to be starting with the Adventure tires. We have the Desert HT for a 90% off-road tire. We have the Rally tire for an 80% off-road tire. We have the Adventure tire for a 70% off-road tire. And then we have the Tractionator GPS, which is a 50/50 tire. Now the off-road stack of tires that we have over here on the side are going to be some of the stickiest and most aggressive tires that you can put on your dirt bike. Now world-renowned trials riders, enduro riders, and even arena cross riders use these tires because they are some of the most stickiest and longest lasting tires in the segment. Now again, we're going to be covering each of these different tires every Monday here for the next several weeks. So stay tuned if you want to get into the downright details of each of the different tires in the Motoz lineup. Now today we're going to start with the Adventure tires. Now the Desert HT has been a phenomenal tire. Now I started running the Desert HT back in, I want to say 2010 or 11, when my 950 Super Enduro could not keep a set of TKCs on it. My buddy Brian was like, hey dude, you got to try these things out. They work better than a TKC 80 in his opinion. And I have found that to be the same as well.
Continental TKC 80s, I tend to wear through those pretty quick. Rally Raid 908 is usually what I run. I normally average about 1,500 miles out of that tire. Sometimes I get up to 2,000 miles. So I just returned from a 2-day adventure ride. So far, I'm extremely happy with these Motoz tires. I've had them on the bike for just about 2,000 miles now. They've been through 4 different adventures. As you can see, we're about halfway down on the tread wear. I'm probably anticipating another 1,000, maybe 1,500 miles out of these tires before we got to take them off and toss them.
Now the biggest difference between this tire and a TKC 80 is going to be the tread depth. The thing has just over an inch of tread depth. It's absolutely crazy when it comes to that. Now, I rode that tire for a long time until they released the Tractionator Adventure Tire. The RallZ tire, or the Rally tire, however you want to pronounce it, is new as of 2 years ago. But about 4 years ago, they came out with this guy right here. It's going to be the Adventure tire. Now that tire is a phenomenal tire. This is probably closer head-to-head with the TKC 80 than the other tires in the lineup. We'll get to that here in just a second. And then after this tire had been out there for a while, they launched the GPS tire. Now the GPS tire is a head-to-head competitor with the Heidenau K60 Scout. Now that K60 Scout I had run on my R1200 GS Adventure, and while it got me over 12,000 miles, probably closer to 14,000 is what I would have got out of that tire, it was phenomenal. But in cold and wet weather, it was terrible. And that's where the GPS comes in. The GPS has a softer compound than the Heidenau, but it's still getting great longevity due to the all-natural rubber construction that's in there. And that is one of those things that Motoz touts. The rubber composition that they use is an all-natural rubber. And in some situations, like the Rally tire here, they've mixed silica into the compound, which allows it to work better in wet weather situations. So this has a softer rubber compound, it has silica in it, and it wears out quicker than that of the Adventure tire. But it has a greater distance between the lugs, and the lugs are offset. There's a lot of variant details that go into that tire which kind of make it excel over that of the Adventure. But the Adventure tire, you're going to get more longevity, probably a couple thousand miles more than you would out of the Rally tire. I typically get about 3,500 miles out of a set of the Desert HTs. These Motoz Desert HTs have been phenomenal tires. They've been on my bike for 5 months and I've gotten over 4,300 miles on them. As you can see in the images here, they've been on the bike for 5 months and they were installed at, what, 4,800 miles, and now we've got 9,300 miles, so that's super mileage out of a super aggressive 90 dirt, 10% street tire. I get about 4,000 miles out of the Rally tire. I've gotten almost 6,000 miles out of the Adventure tire.
Bring the camera on over here if you will. Today we're out on a motorcycle ride on a KTM 950 Super Enduro and a KLR 650. This 950 Super Enduro, show the camera down here, has these awesome Motoz Tractionator Adventure tires. Worn out Tractionator Adventure with 5,000 miles on it is still putting this type of bite down in the sand. Now I actually wore out my front tire before I wore out the rear tire.
And I personally have put over 12,000 miles on my Motoz Tractionator GPS tires on my BMW R1200 GS Adventure. Now, if you don't care about longevity, you just want the most traction possible, this Desert HT is by far the most amazing tire that I've run on a big adventure bike. Take a look at the amount of depth and the distance between these lugs. Super great for digging in the dirt, in the mud, and just making that forward momentum super easy. Now these side lugs are actually tied together, and that allows this tire to be stable on the highway as well. Not as stable as these other two, but you're going to be hard pressed to be able to push that tire past the limits that the tire is capable of. Now, if you're looking for a little bit smoother of a ride, now this tire is super loud on the highway. It sounds like a big mud truck going down the highway. So if you're looking for a more quieter of a ride, the RallZ tire here is going to be the tire you're going to want to look at. It's got a slightly softer compound than that guy over there. The distance between the blocks here is a little bit closer than that of the Desert HT. It does a phenomenal job out there in the dirt, especially on big, heavy adventure bikes. Now the Adventure Tire. Now if you're looking to get significantly more mileage than you get out of any other 50/50 tire out there in the marketplace, the Adventure Tire is definitely a tire you should take a look at. Now all of these tires here, I actually mix and match the fronts depending on the type of riding that I'm going to be doing. If you want the most longevity and a really good dirt tire, the Adventure Tire here is one that I would definitely recommend. And as we move towards the GPS tire, we're going to have a center strip on this tire. That's really going to be the big key differentiator between this tire and the others. Is this center strip right here is going to make this tire roll down the highway super, super smooth. Almost like a street bike tire or a sport bike tire. You're going to have awesome feeling on this tire. Now this tire can be run in two different directions. There is a 50/50 direction and there is a mostly off-road direction. Now it doesn't matter which way you run that. If you're really getting into some hardcore off-road stuff, I recommend airing down a lot. And that's going to allow the side lugs on this tire to be able to dig in and do their job. And it's going to make that center strip kind of suck up in the center. So you're really using the side lugs on the tire in order to get your forward momentum. Here's the track that the Tractionator GPS is laying down on a gravel road. You can see that there's lots and lots of groove that's catching some good bite. He's got at least another 5,000 miles left. So we're looking at absolutely a 10,000 mile tire. Now when this tire is mounted in the 50/50 direction, you're going to have leading edges that kind of go out and away, and that's going to make for smooth transitions into the corners. Now when it's mounted the mostly off-road way, those leading edges are going to be like little daggers pointing forwards, trying to get you the most forward momentum and traction as you can possibly get out of that specific tire there. Now out of these four tires here in front of us, the GPS tire is going to be the quietest running down the road. You're not even going to notice that it's a knobby tire, but when you do get off-road, it is going to perform like an off-road tire. Now what I personally like to do is I like to run into the Adventure Tire or the RallZ tire as my front tire when I'm running the GPS. And the reason that I like that is the fact that the GPS tire here doesn't have that big of spaces between the front grooves or the front lugs, and I really like to have a little bit more space so that when I'm traversing downhill, something steep, I know that I have that traction up there in front. That's something that I really like. Now that Adventure Tire is going to go the full duration of that rear tire. I got 5,000 miles out of the set of these tires here on the 950. Is that bee getting to you or fly? Sorry, shoo them away. Again, you can use any of these front tires with any of the rears. When it comes to the front tires of the RallZ and the Desert HT, those wear out quite a bit quicker. I found that when I ran these two tires, my front tire was worn out just about the same pace as the rear tire. Now, conversely, when I ran the Adventure Tire, I went through 2 rear tires for every 1 front tire. So just kind of the way that the tread compound is made up, you can see that these blocks here are a lot larger than that of these other two, so they were able to absorb that energy a lot better, and they lasted a lot longer than the other 2 tires over here. Now we touched on the percentage differences of these tires. We're looking at 90% off-road, 80% off-road, 70% off-road, and 50% off-road. But I can tell you that if you're going to take any of these Adventure tires out into the dirt or out onto the pavement, they're going to perform and exceed expectations. If you want the most grip that you can possibly get off-road, that Desert HT is hard to beat. It's a little bit less expensive than the others, but it is going to wear out significantly quicker. If you're looking for maximum performance off-road, but you're looking for more longevity, upwards of that 4,000 mile mark, this guy right here is going to be the jam. It's got silica in there. It handles wet weather great. It has good longevity. And if you take a look at how aggressive this tread pattern is and how much space is between this lug, you're going to notice that you're going to have lots of off-road performance out of that tire. Now, if you're looking for great off-road performance, better than most of the other 50/50 tires out there on the market, the Tractionator Adventure would be the tire that I would recommend for you. Most guys are getting upwards of 6,000 miles out of this tire. So when you take a look at how many TKC 80s or Shinko 804, 805s that you would have to put on your motorcycle in order to get the same distance that you get out of this tire, it's really remarkable. Not only in just the tire price itself, but the cost of changing the tire out. Talking 3 tire changes, I mean, you're looking at 25, 35 bucks to each wheel in order to change that tire at a local shop. That's a lot of money that you're going to save if you choose to go this direction here. Then, of course, that GPS tire. If you're looking to leave any of the southern states here in the US and ride your motorcycle all the way up to Canada and back and not ever have to change a tire, that GPS tire is going to be the one I'm going to recommend to you. Same thing, if you live in the northern US and you're going to travel all the way down to southern tip of Baja and back and never want to change your tires, these GPS tires are going to be the tires that you want on your bike. Now, even after you do that trip, you're still going to have like a full season of riding left on that GPS tire. Now, if you just want the most aggressive tires possible for that trip and want to make sure that when you do get off the beaten path, you have ultimate traction, then either the Adventure or the RallZ tire is what I would recommend. By the time you get back from that trip, these tires are going to be absolutely spent, but you will have the peace of mind knowing that you had the best traction possible when you were out there riding. Anyway, we have all of these tires available for sale here at motocityparts.com. We have free shipping on them currently, so make sure you take a look at that. And as you can see, we have stock on hand and we are ready to serve you. I'm Kyle Bradshaw from Moto City. Thank you guys for watching. Again, this is just our overview of the Adventure Tire segment. We're going to get into the specific details of each of these tires over the next several weeks. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when those new videos are released. If you got this far, please hit that thumbs up button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. And hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you can be part of our notification squad. Until next time, as always, take care and ride safe out there.